The picture you're looking at here is of the veneer as it arrives from the seller. It has to be tamed. The bottle in the background there is the veneer tamer, and the veneer here is being pressed between sheets of paper and MDF board after being soaked in that veneer tamer. This picture is a S-type center console. I'm deciding whether or not to fit it to my Mark II. I've not decided yet. Doesn't belong there, but it does look rather nice. Now we move on to the beginning of what I've recovered in veneer. This obviously is the dial cluster. I got this from another vehicle, as unfortunately the one I had was destroyed. You can see in this picture that to the left there the end is missing, so I had to take that off of my destroyed one. Fortunately that end wasn't damaged, and then I had to reshape it to make it match. These pictures that follow now are of the various brackets, nuts, washers of the items that are on the back, and you need to do this, otherwise you're going to get in a mess not knowing which goes where. This is obviously from the glove box. Now here is the beginning of the removal of the old veneer. I used a torch and a scraper, and it came off quite well. Some of it was a little tough, but you work away at it and you get it done. Again, another picture of the back with the brackets and the lights, so you can actually see the blocks of wood that are there. I scraped all of those glue off and removed the blocks and then re-glued them just to give it the strength. The back of the unit here, as you can see, I was filling in some holes and cleaning up and re-gluing, ready for what I have, which is only the overdrive. I don't have the heated rear window. This is a picture of the broken gauge. As I said, unfortunately it got wet and it just crumbled, and my own stupid fault, but there you go. Shit happens and you deal with it. Again, another picture of brackets, the angles they are, the twisted bracket on the end, just so that when you do come to put this all back together, you know where it goes. And again, another piece of broken dashboard showing the clips, and more brackets. Now we move on to actually preparing ready for the veneer. You have to fill in all the holes. You don't want any holes, and by that I mean, gouges that you've made when you're removing the veneer, because you want a perfectly flat surface to attach the veneer to. And I just took lots of photographs at different angles, which hopefully will be of interest to you. This is a piece of exhaust pipe I am using to hold the veneer down and in position. You have to get creative. I don't know of any curved clamps, so I use that pipe and some clamps that I got hold of. This, as you can see, is a veneered surface of the dial area, and do note where the dials come out, you must make sure you get glue there, because if it doesn't stick there, when you go to cut those out, it will cause you all sorts of problems. There in this picture you can see that there was a problem in the middle there, so what I'd done is I cut it with a scalpel, squirted glue in there, and then applied that little piece of pipe just to hold it in position while it's set. Again, same thing here, attaching the first piece of veneer and getting the edges stuck down. Again, edges are very important. You must get those stuck down properly because when you go to put in the colour piece, it's going to cause you all sorts of problems. This shows you the amount of clamps I had to use to get this held down. Now there are other methods you could use, with pieces of steel and then a couple of clamps, but I enjoyed that clamp method. Here she is. This is already rubbed down now, and that piece is pretty much ready to start taking its first sealing coat, but as you can see, the piece underneath the curve has not yet been done. Now we move on to the glove box. As you can see, it's pretty dull looking compared to the veneers that I've got, so it was time to rip this out and get it ready for new veneer. Again, taking pictures of the back, very important. Make sure you know where brackets go, screws go, blocks of wood go, the light switch, all sorts of things here that you must make note of. Take lots of photographs, different angles. You'd be surprised, all of a sudden you go, oh, hang on a minute, I can't quite see that in this picture, so you need another picture. So take it from all angles. It's not like you have to develop the films these days. And there you can see all the brackets. Here now we're getting ready, sanding everything down, making sure there are no holes, gouges, so that we're ready to apply the veneer. Again, more pictures showing them the bracket there, and that piece of steel along the bottom obviously is where the under dash panel attaches to, but you need to know it's there. Another picture showing it at a different angle. Doesn't cost anything, as I said. Take as many pictures. Take a video, doesn't matter. Make sure you got a reference all the way around. Again, more brackets. This is the angle this bracket goes in. Now you're going to take all these brackets off and you're going to paint them, powder coat them, whatever you're going to do. You want to make sure you put them back in the right place and in the right holes. Same with the blocks of wood there. Again, another angle. Also it gives you an idea of where the glove box itself goes and how it fits. Yeah, getting really ready now. We're getting closer and closer. Obviously at the top of the picture you can see the dials, the dial cluster area. Now I've applied the veneer to the face of the glove box. Still got the curve to do. Particularly like the pattern on this veneer. And here, sticking it in the curve again with that piece of exhaust pipe. You use what you can to do the job. And obviously the row of clamps are holding down the edge. I also use the blue tape at the bottom there to keep an edge held down. There was obviously a piece here that wasn't stuck down, and this is what you find afterwards, where you just didn't get the glue quite right. So then you have to cut it with a scalpel, put a pin through it, whatever, to get some glue in there. And here we are with the almost finished article. It's completely veneered now. All I need to do is sand it, coat it, sand it, coat it, sand it, coat it, fill it, sand it, coat it. It goes on. It's a long process, but it's very satisfying. There's the two units together, obviously, and this is in a right-hand drive car. This was the first attempt at covering the glove box door. I wasn't satisfied with it, so I stripped it all off and started again with a new piece of veneer. You've got to try and match them up if you can. I didn't succeed in all times or all places. And there it is with the new veneer on it. You can see it's darker, it has a lot more pattern to it. And once you see the picture in a minute of it in the box, and you can see where the pattern swirls round and meets. Obviously this is just the box area, and I believe it's the next picture that shows it together. Okay, I couldn't leave the video where it was because it didn't show the finished articles, and I would imagine you like to see the finished articles. Also, I realized that they weren't in my file, so I had to get them and put them in the file. So hopefully you'll enjoy looking at these next few pictures. You just saw the back of the glove box. This is the back of the dials, and all of the brackets and they're all powder coated. I just prefer to powder coat if I can. I can do small items in a domestic oven that I have. Anyway, here's the glove box. I think looking rather resplendent. It is not perfect, I know that. But for my first attempt at veneering, I am pleased. Now, that doesn't mean that later down the road I won't tear it all off and do it again. Because I'm just stupid like that. It's one of the things I do. I keep looking at it and it annoys me, and then eventually I'll deal with it. So here's the glove box. As you can see, I also veneered the inside, and then you can see the flocking that I did on the inner part of the glove box and the light. This is the dial cluster, and for my purposes the only light I needed was the overdrive light. Obviously, if you do have, lucky enough to have the heated rear window, not that I need it where I live, it will be a nice little bar there, and if you look at the back of it you will see where the bar would go. So, and there they are, the pair together. If you see little what you think is white shaded bits, it's just light reflecting and the flash, so I can assure you that they are all nicely finished.